Well, hello, operations community. Chris and I are here to join you. I wonder, can I put this in gallery view? And hopefully they can see us both at the same time. So we decided a while back we wanted to start doing these super candid conversations about whatever, right? Literally, it is just real estate unfiltered talk. Um, Depends on how we're feeling that day, what comes out of our mouths, I'll watch my potty mouth.
And I will try
Um,
to.
right. But literally, it's just a way for one, for you guys to kind of get to know us a little bit behind the scenes. Like literally, we meet with each other already a couple times a week to work on different, Troy projects. And we always end up having these conversations. We're always like, if only these were recorded. And so we are going to start coming on live every Monday around this time somewhere between 2:30 and 3. Just like 15, 20 minutes, whatever, shoot the shit and just kind of be real with you guys. So we figured we'd start today with kind of just talking about, there's a lot of new people in our group, and we wanted to introduce you to the reason why we started the real estate operations community and the Real Estate Operations Institute in the first place, and just give you a little bit of behind the scenes because it's actually kind of an interesting story, I think. So,
Yeah, it is.
you want to
So
start?
you want me to go ahead and get started?
Yeah,
All right. So, um, back in the day, maybe 5 years ago or so, Josie and I met.
pre-COVID.
Yeah, Josie and I met. It was fate that we met, and there was a connector in between us that, absolutely put us together for a good reason. And I was a little bit further in my career path at that point in the level of people that I was providing services to and the team that I was the operations director of operations for. So I helped coach Josie through some of the growing pains that her team was feeling, that she was feeling, because new environment, new structure, new process, she was just implementing all that. So in the interim, I had said for years that, what we have doesn't really exist. So you go to brokerages and they offer tons of support when it comes to, you know, lead generation or how, where to find better leads. Do you provide leads? What are scripts for leads? What is the everything was sales driven, and a huge gap that is missing is the behind the scenes. Like once you have all that, how do you manage it? How do you level it out? How do you make it scalable so you're not working that hard every day for the rest of your life? And so in that conversation, I had said many a times, like, we need a community of this, like where we are coaching and helping people leverage and building their business. And little did I know that Josie was having those same conversations, maybe not directly, but like there were things that she was saying that hinted to me as well that I knew that she was possibly going down that route. And the stars aligned, and we decided that we were ready to build our own table. We were not being invited to some of the tables that we thought we should be being invited to, and sometimes that makes you feel a certain way. But honestly, what I have learned through this process, and it's hard at times, and it doesn't sit as well with me at times as well, but what I learned is certain blockings are actually blessings. And at the end of the day, if something's not in alignment with you, it's not going to happen and you can't force it. So with this, we were in alignment. We had similar goals and values, and we were both feeling the same way. So that's kind of
Your
my
perspective.
side of the story.
Yeah. So mine's close and yet a little different. So yeah, I'm glad that you said that you were my coach. I think that's important, right? And so I always give credit, right? It was David Patterson, who many of you might know, who used to be our team's coach, that then he coached me and Val, and then as we grew our team, he coached us together, he coached us separately. Eventually he was like, he felt like he was doing me a disservice by not connecting me with someone who was more specific to operations because that's my niche, right? And then that's when he leveraged out to Carissa, who was an operations coach. And then that's how we met, how we connected. And then she just became my one of my besties, right? My spirit animal. So I call her my BPBF, my business partner, best friend. I'm still coming for that second F, but she has another BF. We're not gonna talk about that right now. Anyway, so And then she was one of the ones, along with Val and other people who just kept pouring into me, my pivot community, right? Meeting with people all the time with one-on-ones, helping people get up unstuck. It's what I say all the time. It's what I love to do. And that eventually led to me, it started off with just Google sites. That was my niche. I create Google sites, right, for people, for teams, and trying to do that in more of a structured business way. Then it transitioned into adding on actual coaching, right? And doing actual real estate coaching, not just for admins, but for agents as well. And then I remember going to Elevate for those who are kind of part of the pivot community, right, with James Shaw. And I was like, I need to build a website because even for me, it was hard for me to kind of just clearly answer what it is that I offered. And so I gave myself like 3 weeks. Well, I gave myself a deadline. It was not meant to be 3 weeks, but I gave myself a deadline, the end of April, in 2022, I think 20, I forget, 2023 maybe, to build an actual website. And I did it. It was some sleepless nights, but I built this website. It was, done not perfect, but it was really great. I love it. Um, and right after that is when I got really intentional about what I wanted this kind of side hustle business to look like, right? Still very much on the Valerie King team, and yet trying to build something for myself. Part of what did happen was that there was this event that was happening within our group, let's say, this community of people, right, that we connected with, that I did not get, and me personally did not get invited to sit at the table. And I was the ops, I was the marketing kind of person, right? And I was tapped into for feedback, and yet they went and hired someone else kind of outside of this nucleus to actually do the services. And I was like, I could, one, I probably would have did it for free because I was already part of the group, right? And I would have just liked to be part of it. And they could have hired me to do it, and in my opinion, probably at a stronger level, honestly, than the quality of output that was done. And so I was like, you know what? The aha for me though was that people can invite whoever they want to their table. And if I did not earn a seat, or if they just didn't think that I was the right fit, or whatever the case was, then there's nothing I could do about that. And what I could do though was go and build my own table. And then that's what I was very intentional to stay focused on doing moving forward, right? Really pouring into my coaching business, really pouring into pushing myself out there, which is outside of my comfort zone because I'm a very low I typically. Like I'm not a salesperson. I love helping people, but I don't love selling to people, if that makes sense, right? Um, and then part of that was, well, how else can I expand my services beyond coaching, beyond building Google sites? And it was a class. I was like, I want to do some kind of class about systems. I don't really know what yet. And so in one of our coaching calls, I said to Carissa, like, I was thinking of doing like a class. I don't really like maybe just host it on YouTube, something where I can like, sell small tickets or whatever, somewhere around systems. No clue. And she was like, I was thinking about doing a class as well, around, I don't know if she had an idea yet either, or just, we both are systems people. And I was like, well, instead of us competing as two, like, why don't we collaborate and maybe just build something together? We can co-teach it, we can co-create it. We both have so many resources that we have created for other teams and for other coaching clients and things. Um, and I remember it was a couple weeks, and then she was like, she didn't quite give me like a yes or no, like that's amazing. So I was like, oh man, I shot myself in the foot. She's probably like, this bitch. And so I think the next time we met, I was like, hey, so that idea about like doing this together, like if you don't think that that's an alignment, like I'm sorry, I didn't mean for you to feel uncomfortable. And she's like, no, no, no. She's like, I actually thought it was a great idea. She's like, I just haven't wrapped my mind around like what would that look like? Like how would we move forward? And then we talked about it, right? And then it was like, well, let's decide where do we want to host it. And so we both went doing research into like we could do YouTube, but we landed on Kajabi, which is still what we use now, right? Kajabi is like a great platform for hosting classes and things. And then this one little class that we wanted to build out turned into this whole company where we now have multiple on-demand classes, paid classes, free resources, just a lot, right? And it's just us, right? We don't have a ton of people working behind the scenes, creating video. All the marketing that you see is what we've done. The website and everything that you see is what we've done, what we've built together over time, Not perfect. And yes, if we hired someone and paid $25,000, they could probably make it look a lot better than it looks right now. And it's still something that we're super proud of. And so I want the takeaway for you guys to be, for one, to not sell yourself short, right? There's someone who sees value in what it is that you have to offer, but you have to see that value in yourself first, right? And you have to be willing to put yourself out there, and maybe you get rejected, and maybe someone is like, no, I definitely want to partner with you. Like, what can that look like? And then just be willing to figure it out together.
Exactly, because there is one thing that, I mean, I have to hear it over and over again because progress over perfection, done not perfect. Because from people who to ops people, we do want a perfect product to be put out there. But guess what?
Mhm.
It's never going to be perfect. There's always going to be something to change, something to tweak, something to add on. But the point of it is showing up as who you are. And I don't think people understand that authenticity sells itself, right?
Right.
I am a mom, a wife. I have a business. I am the broker, one of the brokers of my brokerage of 900 agents. So I have a lot of moving parts and I'm showing up every day. Sometimes it's 60%, sometimes it's 100%. But that's kind of the thing is like give what you can give, but show up because consistency wins every time. And that is really what I've taken out of this is you don't have to be balls to the wall every second, but don't let off the gas. Like it's okay to kind of like coast for a second, but don't hit that brake because the second you hit that brake, you're starting all over. Really, you are starting all over. And what you guys see is what you get, really, truthfully. And I was going to do makeup, I was going to make myself look cute, but I'm like, you know what? This is who I am on a daily basis. So I am going to show up in my Mickey Mouse sweatshirt and my hair thrown back because really, guys, it doesn't take what some of you see online to build a business that you're proud of. This is what the business that we're proud of looks like. And we wanted to just come on here and let you know that it's okay to start your own, build your own table. Like you don't have to be invited. Figure out your circle and build it with the people that want to be part of it because that's what's going to truly last.
Right. I love that you said figure out your circle, that part, right? And so if you're in a space, right, within whatever real estate space you're in, we're both at two different brokerages, and we don't care. It's very rare that you'll see us like talk a lot about the brokerages that we're part of as opposed to the fact that we're just both in real estate, right? And a lot of my circle, if you will, is not people who are local, right? I'm in Connecticut, and yet people who I consider part of my high vibe tribe are all over the country and Canada. I probably have more people that I'm really close with in Georgia, honestly, than I do and up here locally. And it is what it is, right? So your virtual community can still be your community. You just don't want to isolate yourself. Like in this industry, it can be very isolating and very jarring. And yet when you feel like you just have someone who you can reach out to bounce ideas off of, help hold you accountable when you maybe don't want to hold yourself accountable, help motivate you, all the things, right? You have to find, even if it's one person to start with, ideally a small group of people, right? You really have to find, that's why I said, put yourself out there and look for and find who can be kind of part of that
Yeah.
circle for you.
And that's really like part of the reason, I mean, probably more than part. It's probably more like three-quarters of the part why we created the community within the Real Estate Operations Institute was because we get it. Like coaching and hiring somebody is expensive, right? So some of that, some people feel that's the only way they can get community is like, oh, I have to hire a coach or I have to be part of this group or that group. And we were like, it's unaffordable. Like it really is. And we have people struggling to pay their dues on their, boards and things like that. So we did create a community that any like guys, it's 12.99 a month. Like get in it, be part of it, contribute. Like there's a ton of resources within there, but we were more so like I was going with it was the Monday and Thursday we have office hours, 30 minutes. So if you have nobody, you're on an island by yourself, you're really not. ever, because you can hop into that 30-minute and be like, I have this idea. I don't even know how to start it. I don't know how to finish it. I don't know how to do the middle. Whatever it is, we're here to support you through that. And then
Mhm.
if it's something we can't, we have a plethora of resources that we can connect you with. And that's really where were and sometimes felt like, who do we go to? Where do we turn? Especially after I left the team. I was used to going into an office filled with 12 to 15 people sitting in like my close proximity where I can bounce things off of and say, hey, does this sound a little weird to you? Or, and when you're by yourself, you don't have that. So figure out how you get that. And that is, again, one of the reasons why we did create that community so you guys can have a place to call home.
Exactly. And I'm going to give a shout out to Terry Friedland. She's out in the super cold, I believe, land of Minnesota. She is one of the ones who had taken our profitable systems class, right? And had reached out and just really, I don't remember exactly what the email said, but it was a seed that we had an idea of, right? And it's probably one of those limiting beliefs for us where we were like, oh my God, there's so many communities, like Carissa was saying, and we didn't necessarily want to have to make something where people would be like, oh, it's another thing to show up for, it's another thing to participate in. And so we were very careful in how we crafted it. But I will say that Terry was probably the final not straw like final straw, but like in a good way, like the final kind of kick in the butt that we needed to be
Yes,
like, you
kind of
know
like that
what?
thing
Let's
where we
just
had it. Yeah,
figure it out. Yeah. And
right.
we brainstormed on a Monday like this, like what if we build something, we know we don't want it to be another 99, 199, like whatever a month, right? Like, so what do we want to build? What type of value do we want to add? And how do we want to open it up, right? And it did start with only people who had taken our profitable systems. Those were the only ones who could then opt into that community as kind of just an extension, a continuation of our flagship course. And then we ended up earlier this year ended up deciding to open it up to just anyone. There's kind of two different levels because if you haven't taken the full course, you have a little bit less access to certain things on the back end. And if you've taken the full course, same price, you have more access, right? It's pretty much what it is. Um, and it's at the heart of it, though, is the point that Carissa and I really just want to add value. And, so we built this table, we built this together because we want to add value, like, and we really just want to continue to pour into people. So as we're both high S's on the disc profile, y'all know I talk about the disc all the time. So we're both high S's, and part of being a high S is, well, for one, you like consistency and stability. Running a community as we do is not consistent and stable. Like you never know who might show up or not, and it is what it is. And yet, even if one person shows up and gets value, like it's worth it for us. Like I had someone who showed up for the office hours a couple weeks ago, and she raves exactly what Carissa said. She's like, "Is this like, do I just ask questions?" She's like, "What?" Like, she's a newer member. And I was like, consider, she was the only one who showed up at that time. Consider it 30 minutes of coaching. Hit me with what you got. And she's like, oh my God, yes, please. And I'm like, literally, if you were paying each of us to coach with you, right? Like it would be so much more expensive. So these office hours, which I had emailed you, we got to think of a different name for it that might resonate with people more, instead of office hours, but that's all it is. It's just an open forum to come visit our virtual Zoom room and just have a conversation with us. Like let us help you sort through whatever it is bothering you, just like you would do with your coach. Um, and just like our coaching clients do with us. And she raved about how this is just something that like every brokerage needs to know about and everybody needs access to. And, she's like, it's the best investment she's ever made in her business. And for like the course itself, because she did sign up for the course back in the spring, and then the community as the extension of that, right? And I was like, oh, I wish I had recorded everything you just said. And I was like, I have to reach back out for her to do a video testimonial because it was just the sweetest, like, run on of just compliments. And it was a morning where I was actually having a rough morning. And it was one of those where, again, limiting beliefs, you kind of get in your head. And she poured into my cup without her even realizing how much she helped me that morning, right? By just reinforcing that what we do matters. And no, what we do isn't for everybody, just like as a realtor, right? Or an admin, whatever. Like you're not going to serve everybody in your city. Not everybody's going to want to work with you. And then that's totally fine. You will reach the people that you're meant to reach as long as you stay authentic, like what Carissa said, right? And you are very intentional with explaining what your message is and who it is that you're trying to reach, right? So the people who need you will find you. I really do believe that.
100%. And I know we talked about the people who were in our ears, like telling us who we should do it. What I didn't talk about were all the people that were telling me not to do it, right?
Oh,
So
girl,
there were a
seriously.
lot, yes, there were lots of people that were like, do you want to do it? Is it the best use of your
There still
time?
is. There still is
That part,
the
that
haters and
part.
the naysayers. I'm like, you know
Yeah.
what? Bet. Good.
Exactly. But here's the deal is how are you taking advice from someone who hasn't done it? Right now, if somebody who did a whole community and it flopped tells me not to do it, I will listen a little harder and ask them, okay, what did you do? Because now I'm going to take that and create a blueprint print of what not to do, right? And so, but the truth of the matter is, in our lives, we're just talking about our community. We're talking about the Real Estate Operations Institute. But what we want you to know is when you have those naysayers telling you, oh, don't get into real estate, don't build a transaction coordination team, don't do this, don't do that. Like they don't have your vision. They don't know what you want to come out of it. And we've talked about this. We've actually hammered into this really hard over the last couple of weeks of your why, because your why needs to be big enough to overcome all of that, right? So your why has to be bigger than the money. Your why has to be bigger than people. Your why has to be the true reason you were put on this earth and what you can pour into others. Because when you can pour into others, it brings out the best in you. It's just like you're the seed and the people who are you're pouring into are watering you and you're just going to exponentially grow. And I feel like you cannot listen to those naysayers. As long as you have a plan and you are executing, eliminate that noise, guys. Eliminate it because nobody has your vision at all.
Oh, this is why, because we're always on the same page. I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna read it. It's a little lengthy, but this was the Monday motivational post that I did for the Valerie King team page earlier today, right? So the quote and then the caption. So the quote, there's no greater gift than thinking that you had some impact on the world for the better. It's Gloria Steinem. The caption that I just, of course, lost says that one thing that we talk a lot about at Keller Williams is your big why. The reason behind what gets you up in the morning, what makes you want to continue doing the work that you do, what is the purpose behind the work that drives you every day? The reality is that if it's something purely monetary or material, then it really won't carry you that far. So for the ones who truly take the time to understand what their big why is, it's often about legacy, community, and or making a large impact, whether just in their family or in the lives of the people around them. Having an impact doesn't have to be some life-altering, one in a million type of outcome. It could be something small and yet meaningful that makes all the difference for even one person. So as you step forward into the week, think about your big why and what drives you to get up and out of bed every day. Think about even the smallest impact that you could have on the life of anyone in your immediate orbit, and then let that knowledge and sense of purpose help to continue motivate and push you as you work your way through the week.
Mic drop.
Yeah.
Seriously, because you are going to have people who get in your way, but one thing that can't get in your way is the vision, right? So if your vision is bigger than any of the noise, you'll be good. You'll be good. For real.
Yeah.
Like even on the days like I just said that I woke up this morning in true transparency, I'm not feeling 100. I did a lot of traveling last week for work and for other reasons. Um, I've slept more in the last 2 days than ever, and I'm still tired. And I feel like my body is fighting something. Well, I had promised myself that I was going to start my running journey on Monday, right? My running journey, what does that look like? That means I got to run. And if anybody knows, it's cold outside. So I was like, I'm not going outside. And if anybody really knows me, knows I don't like going to the gym because it's just time that I could be working out that I have to use to go to the gym and back and all that. So I say all that to say I got out of bed this morning, took a couple deep breaths, and put my clothes on, went to the gym, told myself, I'm just gonna half-ass it. I'm just gonna get on this treadmill and just do a little bit. Then I walked in there and I saw all the people working out, and I said, they're doing it. I said, you know what? I gotta show up harder on the days I don't want to show up. So I literally said I was gonna do 20 minutes of my run. I was like, I'm gonna do 25 because I didn't want to do it today. So I'm gonna push myself to 25 just to show myself I can do it. So that's when you feel like you can't do it, go even harder because that's when you need it. That's when your brain needs it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
And I won't tell you how long it took me to run a mile, but
At
come at
least you
me.
did it.
I know.
The thought
Come at
crossed
me
my
and
mind, I need to get back to the gym. And I was like, if I just put the sneakers, like when I wake up in the morning and they're there staring at me, then I'll go. This thought passed yesterday. The sneakers never went to go out, and so I didn't go to the gym again this morning. So like at least you got up and you went. Like it's baby steps. It's all about that 1%, right? So that 1% for me was if I can just get the sneakers like out, then that'll get me that much closer to actually going to the gym. Atomic habits, right? And so so give yourself kudos for even going, and
Well, I'll
then
give you a little tip. I haven't told many people when I first started working out what I did. I probably told you because I tell you everything, but Facebook world is now going to know. I used to sleep in my workout clothes. No joke. I
Hmm.
literally put all of my workout clothes on the night before until I was ready to not do that, right? So
Right.
I obviously couldn't put my sneakers on. My husband would kill me, but I literally sports bra, tank top, yoga pants, all of it. So when I got up in the morning, I washed my face, brushed my teeth. I didn't have to think about finding my, it was even beyond finding it. I just had to walk. I had no excuse. I had
Right.
to make as little excuses as possible for myself. And that's what got me in the habit. Really, it was
I love
whatever
it.
works for you guys. That's what I'm saying. That's
Right.
why I'm like, don't let
Exactly.
anything get in your way. Like, even if you have to sleep in your clothes, that's it.
I love that. Yeah. Well, so today this was your real estate unfiltered. And this is literally how we talk to each other. Like this is just a conversation that even if we weren't on Zoom or, live streaming, whatever, right now, this is what we would say to each other.
Right.
And so we wanted to kind of bring some of this just genuineness to you guys, like I said earlier, so you can know a little bit more about us. Some conversations will be more real estate specific, and some might just be us shooting the shit like we did today. So if you ever have any questions, we were both pretty open books, so please feel free to reach out to us. And like I said, we'll be jumping into things. We were gonna potentially talk on the 50-year mortgage. Maybe next week. We'll see. If that's still a hot topic, maybe I'll give my opinions on that next week when we come back. But we're not gonna touch on that right now. Anything you want to close out with?
Nope. Just keep in mind, even if you have to sleep in your clothes, just do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Or at least, like I said, put the sneakers visible in your eyes.
Yeah,
Whatever's gonna get you to just do that 1%. I love that.
that's it. That's it.
All right, guys. Well, we will see you next Monday, or we'll see you in the community at some point, and have an amazing week.
Bye, guys.